This is the Bill Squire Show.
Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of the Bill Squire Show. I'm Bill Squire. Here's Tommy.
Hi.
And there's Pants. You just fucked up your camera. You had it good and you fucked it up. That's good. That's good.
Fine.
All right, we got some stuff to get to in this episode.
Straight to it.
We're gonna get into it. But first, tell me about your weekends. Primarily, tell me about going to see Kiss.
So I broke Edge Friday night at my buddy's show. American Werewolves did an All Misfits cover set. It was very fun.
Do they do that every year?
No, they do a show every year.
Hey, that person that you said that was there that sucks. Was she being sucky there, or are you saying that from past things?
I don't recall saying which person I said sucked.
It was someone that used to be involved with me.
Oh, okay. Repeat what you just said, because now I remember who I told you about.
Was the person that I said, or that you said was there that sucks? Was she
being sucky?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I didn't really talk to her.
Okay. Well, you said because you said something to you like, yeah, but she sucked, and I was like, yeah, I mean, yeah, but I was wondering because I didn't know how much interaction you even had because we weren't hanging out that much when we were together. So
No.
But you just thought in general.
I was also hammered, and I just was saying the thing that bros say to each other to prop them up.
Oh, okay.
That was the spirit.
I
of
didn't.
that.
Well, and that's why I was like, did something happen?
I'm sure she's a fine person, but it was I don't even think I was in my feelings. I literally, because I didn't drink for a few weeks, and then I took a couple of shots, and then I was like feeling it.
Yeah.
And then thankfully, American Werewolves got me on stage to sing a song with them before
it all fell apart.
The sun set on me, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it was very fun, except I weigh 250 pounds, and I'm 43 years old, and jumping on my knee will leave you sore all weekend.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm in the sore club with you because my back hurts just from sleeping and driving. So
life.
My
I
knee
can't
hurts.
even-
I don't know why.
Yeah.
So you're in your 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tommy's not there yet, but
Plenty of time. Don't.
But we're all
don't rush
just
to
we're
get
a little
there.
banged up this week, but we're soldiering through.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I had to drive to Cincinnati the next day.
Yeah, you had a weekend, man.
I did actually have a weekend. My good buddy Don Boo got married Saturday night, so it's like a 3.5 hour, just nothing crazy. But waking up, I was feeling pretty Rudy Tooty, and I was like soldiered through it.
There's sometimes when I'm hungover and a drive is like the perfect thing, and there's sometimes where it's the worst thing.
Yeah, it was good.
It's
I
never
like
good for me, ever.
3.5 hours, like the perfect length of a long drive, because I like to be alone with my thoughts and stuff. It's like the perfect.
No, do you have music on, or do you have podcasts on, or you just kind of let your mind
I do
wander?
music.
Yeah.
I go through
But like
waves.
music to like let your mind just kind of like get on in the background, and you just kind of.
And I wasn't like I didn't feel horrendous, thankfully.
Yeah, I think
because
that's good.
Yeah.
the next morning I felt fucking horrendous because I got it. Well, I saw a bunch of old friends from
you're in
art
a wedding.
school at the wedding, and it was everyone was in the best
5-way
mood.
with alcohol.
And then and then I just later on I'm at the bar telling everybody that I'm Joe Burrow's cousin, and just to try to get anyone to come home with me, and that didn't work out as it never would.
No Cincy babes?
No. I mean, I will say there's some good-looking women in Cincinnati. Cincinnati is a very
I love that
cute city.
Yeah.
Like, it's very...
Some parts.
yeah,
Sometimes.
I was in
It's
the,
just like Cleveland. Like, well, we got some places that we've gussied up and got some real shit.
I was like in the Ohio City, Tremont area of Cincinnati,
Yeah.
where I'm like, I don't even litter around here. Like, it's clean.
I had to go down Dedison the other day, and it was like it was like going down Denison to get to Ridge to my. I don't even, what was I doing on Ridge? I don't know. I had to go. I cut through that way, but it was just one of those things that it's such a different world from the part of Cleveland that I'm in most of the time, where it was like, first of all, you get the motorcycle gangs, not even like dirt bike gangs. Friday night, they're just out. They don't have lights on their things. They're just out dirt biking around. And then you got people just standing on the side of the street all the time.
Yep.
Like there's some people probably dealing drugs. Other people, they're just where they hang out. They just stand there.
Just standing.
That's their home. You're passing through. That's where they stand.
Mm-hmm. You got a bar that looks like it has been closed for years with a sign that says grand opening.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love it. I love it.
It is the most accurate cross section of Cleveland. You know.
Yeah.
If you think the bakery for dogs is what Cleveland is, or
You are wrong.
The craft brewery with the cute logo, no,
These are the places.
It's Denison and Ridge.
Yeah.
that's Cleveland.
That's Cleveland.
But Cincinnati was cute, and then Sunday I came home and then went to see Kiss at Romo Fijo, and that was the most. Speaking of a cross section of Cleveland. The entire city of Parma showed up to attend that show.
Of
Because
course, they're legally obligated. They
I don't
have
know
to go.
why I'm even surprised by that.
If you live in Parma and you don't go see Kiss, you have to pay 25% income tax.
Yeah, it's like filing your taxes late. You get pegged with the penalty.
They're like, oh, we see that you didn't go see Kiss, and that's,
I mean, I saw Kiss 24 years
charter.
ago, so that was the second time I ever got to see Kiss, and it was sick.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I've been to 3 bajillion metal and rock shows in my lifetime. I don't know why I'm always amazed by the people watching at shows. Because I'm one of them.
Yeah.
You know, I show up and I'm sure they're looking at me the same way I'm looking at them. But it was like, amazing. Like, just, mwah.
But especially for Kiss, because Kiss has a spectrum of fans that goes from
wide,
like
right.
very, rock and roll, but then you get there's a D&D faction of Kiss fans.
Oh, there's a total cult nerd
there's
following.
A cult nerd following. There is an autistic following. And I'm not saying that like an insulting way. I'm saying like they like the extravagance of the live show.
Oh yeah.
And the lore of Kiss. Like they love that. Kiss to me has never really been. I was always thrown off by the complete Satanistic thing that I was sold by the media and then I heard the music because I never knew what songs were Kiss's songs until the movie Detroit Rock City.
Okay.
And then I watched Detroit Rock City and I heard all the stuff like, oh, Kiss are Satan's service and like they're devil worshiper music, blah, blah. And then they come out there with these songs that could be by the Monkees. And I was like, what the fuck? Like
it's called Gene Simmons is a master marketer is what that's called.
Yeah. And it was like what I thought I was going to hear coming out of Kiss and what I saw was like, I was like, wait, all this fire and blood and all this stuff is coming from like AI songs that sound like, hey, AI, write me a song about rock and rolling. And that's what Kiss songs
If you didn't have the leather and you didn't have the face paint and the costumes, and it was you could literally have a band that's dressed like Creedence Clearwater Revival or something, and you'd be like, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'll put it this way. No, there's never
been.
Do
you enjoy the music of Kiss?
Not
like if you just heard it.
If I just hear it, like it's fine. Like because
there are a lot of people that fucking hate the music of Kiss.
I don't hate the music. It's just one of those things where it's like you hated it.
No, I said I don't hate it either.
It's more like I've never been like, man, I need to hear a Kiss song.
Yeah.
Like really like there's never been like I'm trying to think of something I want to listen to, and it's never been Kiss.
Well, again, I think.
But if a Kiss song comes on. And it's like Detroit Rock City or Love Gun or like
Strutter. I mean,
to me,
they've got hits.
They've got, and I'm not saying they don't, but it's just never been stuff that I'm like, man, I need to hear this.
Well, because you like Coheed.
Yeah.
So to me, Coheed, while really not the same thing as Kiss at all, there's a lot of people that can't stand Coheed.
Right. Absolutely. So I definitely get that, and I don't want to be one of those people like, oh, I can't stand Kiss because I don't know they got some fucking fun songs and their live shows bananas. I wish they had the live shows they have now when they were in their at least 50s because
dude, they're in their 70s, bro.
Yeah, and you can see it in the makeup. Like you can when you can see someone's old through Kiss makeup, they're fucking old.
I will say this to be as polite as possible. Gene Simmons has never looked young, though.
That's
Gene
true.
Simmons
Yeah.
has always looked like Gene Simmons, even in
Yeah.
the 70s.
Yeah.
You know, at which again, the guy was a genius to really think of the face paint and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
That's
like
probably why he looks so old. Painting his face, it's
All
so
the
bad
time,
for your
yeah.
skin.
caked on white makeup for decades.
Yeah.
I think also, I mean, I don't have any critiques of the show, and I think it's dorky to have a critique of a band like Kiss because, like,
It's a fucking
it's
party.
about the spectacle.
Yeah, it's a
But
big
I will
party.
say, like,
yeah.
you know, me and my buddy Trevor went from American Werewolves and stuff, and we both are the exact same person when it comes to attending concerts. Where like we were stoked as fuck. Like first 7 or 8 songs, we kept looking at each other and we're like hitting each other like, "This is sick, this is awesome." And then by like the third guitar solo, where Gene and Paul like left the stage to take like a nap,
Yeah.
and you could tell those guys were up there in years and stuff. Like I could like we'd been standing the whole show, and then finally we're sitting down.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not. This is just speaks to my lack of an attention span.
Yeah.
The show is phenomenal. I'm looking at my phone.
Yeah.
You know, as I like, so finally, like by the third drum solo, where like, you know, I was like, and I could tell because they still probably had another half hour to go. I just I looked at Trevor and go, you know, we could just take off. Like if you want, I could, you know, and you give your friend the reprieve.
Yeah.
It was
Like,
the
if
mutual.
you,
and I
if
felt,
you're ready, I'm ready.
I felt like a dick because, you know, I got sick hookup on seats, and like I lasted as long as I could, and then the weekend finally caught up with me, and I was like,
But yeah, you had a very long weekend too.
yeah, I was like,
I mean,
the
Gene
only,
Simmons and what's his Paul Stanley were able to do the whole concert, and they're in their 70s, but you couldn't.
they were, yeah. Well, they were.
Well,
also,
they made a lot more. They had a lot more incentive too, as well.
Yeah. Well, and also, you know, you kind of forget when a band is that fucking big for that long, they still had that connection. Like they still knew what city they were in. They still could tell they wanted to be there and stuff.
And you know they're selling this as the actual final tour. So
I feel
I heard like they're telling stories about times they've come through Cleveland before, and they absolutely have a great connection to Cleveland and a great connection to fans. And with their drummer being from Euclid, like of course they're gonna chew it up.
I also just have that sort of thing that I apply to most older bands that have been millionaires for decades, where you're just like, yeah, they're here because they have a crew of 200 people that they have to keep paid.
Mm-hmm.
They'd rather be fucking at home or like you know sipping a glass of wine, you know, out on their patio or something. But you know, they consummate showman.
Yeah,
it's just weird. It's weird. After going to shows for 30 years,
what's crazy about Kiss too is they could easily say, "Hey, we're passing the torch to these people. It's going to be the same show. It's going to be a spectacle still. They're not going to do any new music, but we want to keep, whether it's passing it to like some of their kids or something like that. They could do that, and people would still show up.
Yeah, Gene Simmons has a son that's like literally 6'8".
Yeah,
you know,
and like Paul Stanley's son opened, right?
Oh, is that who it was?
That's who it was. Yeah,
I feel like an asshole. I didn't know that's who it was.
So like you could, I mean, and also, the only thing that I really would want to go and see, and we talked about this on the Alan Cox show today, is Paul Stanley's stage banter. Like, all right, everybody. Like, oh my god, it's hilarious and cringy.
He's in great shape too.
Yeah,
because like again, I mean, the dude's in his 70s, right?
Yeah.
It was
like
very fun.
Or something, yeah.
It was I was glad I went. I won't pretend to be. I'm not like a diehard Kiss fan.
For Kiss fan.
But yeah,
But
like
no,
you want to go see Kiss, you're not gonna not go see Kiss.
I mean, I didn't want to go see Kiss, but like, but it's like, but if like somebody had really good seats and like, hey, you want to go? I probably would have gone. But I'm not gonna buy the tickets, and I'm not gonna like go and sit in shitty seats.
I am, I'm by no means wealthy, but I've been spoiled with getting pretty sick seats to a lot of arena shows, and just at any arena thing. I'm sorry anymore. I can't sit further than
you gotta be good.
20 feet away.
Yeah.
Because it's you lose
Feels
me.
like it defeats the purpose.
I know that's like a snobby thing to say. I just couldn't do it. So yeah,
it's your privilege.
had a weekend. Had a weekend.
All right, you guys want to talk about dating? Aaron, you're
Sure.
back on. Pants is back on the dating apps.
Yeah.
He's killing it. Honestly, any lady that doesn't think the shit that you're posting is hilarious is stupid. It's
Right.
so fucking funny.
No, I think they think it's hilarious. I also think they're just like, yeah, this is not this is not a man I want to be alone with in public or private, really.
I think you're gonna find.
Yeah.
No, I
someone.
swear to God, I know people say this all the time. I don't give a fuck, but like I truly, in my core, from the pit of my soul, do not give a fuck.
Well, you shouldn't.
About dating right now.
Yeah,
No, you shouldn't.
I don't. Like
And
there is nothing on earth. There's just I couldn't. And then I think the boredom and just the ability to portray myself and express myself through the medium of such a shitty thing as a dating app draws me to it every fucking time.
All right.
And
Well,
it doesn't. I mean, that's not a bad thing though, because if anybody reaches out, they're clearly
You
into
know.
the fucking
Yeah.
personality, you know?
exactly.
I don't go
Yeah.
chasing them.
Right.
They
You-
go
Come to me.
chasing
Exactly. Make them come to you.
That's.
me. Make them come on me.
Hey, what kind of ladies are you trying to get?
Can't believe I'm single.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about dating a little bit because I've ran across this. This is a list of places men shouldn't take women on a first date. And I love this list because it is basically every place that exists.
Mhm.
And
Every place that
like,
exists.
It's like
Yeah.
72 fucking places,
It's
right?
so many places.
Yes. Sorry,
Yeah.
go on.
Yeah. So this is a list places women absolutely refuse to go on a first date. And to thank you to the ladies who reached out to like some lady put this together and like took input from people. And this is the list of places you can't take them on a date, on the first date. This is first date only.
Okay.
All right. So, number 1 on the list is an egregious disrespect to dates in general. Cheesecake Factory. If you can't take a girl to the Cheesecake Factory on the first date, then I mean, I guess what I'm saying here is you don't take a girl to the Cheesecake Factory. You take a woman to the Cheesecake Factory.
You take the boys to the Cheesecake Factory too if you're trying to do some damage.
Yeah.
Cheesecake Factory to me, I used to always throw that or Olive Garden out like as a joke
Mm-hmm.
to chicks I matched with or like to chicks I was hitting on, because again it goes back to like if they're down either genuinely or ironically,
Yeah.
it's your kind of chick.
Yep.
Yeah, either way.
If they look at you like you're like a scumbag, then you're in for an expensive
if-
voyage in the romance.
You're
with that
you're
lady.
too good for the Cheesecake Factory, or you just I mean, I don't know what their vegan options are there.
I'll be honest, I've never been. Like even
Oh.
before.
I smell
Let's-
show
show
hang,
trip, yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Well,
we
let's
should
make
get
sure
a
they got
sign.
some vegan. They
I
have to have
highly
vegan
doubt
stuff.
they
Oh,
do.
dude, their menu is
No,
300
they're- yeah,
pages
they have-
long.
like,
They
they're
have
known for
vegan
having-
stuff.
Yeah.
And they're
So many
like a
options.
big corporation, so like they know that vegan is a good thing to
All right.
cater to.
I think just for science and for the show, we should do that.
All right.
I'm so down for that.
Yeah,
Let's-
All right. And then there's a lot of similar places, Applebee's,
yeah. You
That's-
shouldn't. Yeah.
Chili's. Although people hate on like I'm going to say this, in the rankings of chain restaurants, Chili's is way above Applebee's. Applebee's is mid-tier garbage. Chili's can fuck.
You think?
Yeah.
I think just
Chili's.
from my vantage point, Chili's and Applebee's is pretty
Mm,
same tier.
Yeah.
No,
same tier
when's the last
chain
time you've been to a
restaurant eating.
Chili's?
It's been a long time.
You
Couldn't
should.
tell you either.
I've been to a Chili's too,
That-
but I was in an
They probably
airport.
also have.
Chili's
Which is
too
not
doesn't
the same
count.
as a
That's not-
Chili's.
yeah, that's
That's
like the Chick-fil-A's at airports. They're not the same.
Cheesecake Factory, Target, Applebee's and Chili's, Walmart.
Yeah.
That's the way I look
Yes.
at that.
Yeah.
I see
So
that.
Chili's, I went there with my parents. I think it was last year, and it was phenomenal.
Mhm.
Like I was blown away by the choices and the menu. Like I was like, holy shit, Chili's is good.
Bill, you getting some advertising money from Chili's we
I
don't know about
wish.
or what?
I fucking wish.
I'll be honest, I didn't know that they were still a thing.
Well, like that's the thing. My parents live near Fairlawn, and they
Mhm.
don't have a lot of restaurants that
They're
aren't
in,
chains.
yeah, they're in big
Yeah.
box
Yeah.
strip mall.
So you have to
world,
go,
yeah.
and I'm like, I guess we'll go to Chili's. And I was like, can we make a reservation? They're like, no, it's Chili's. Just come on in. And I was like, all right. And
Making-
fucking we
I
had-
like that you thought
Is
you
that
would
even a
need
possibility?
reservation.
Well, because it was like Saturday night, and it gets busy. So I was like,
Dude, It's Fairlawn.
I didn't want to
Saturday
do like
night.
a 45-minute wait. So, but they're like, no, we're not too busy. Like I called ahead, and they're like, no, we're not busy tonight. Just come on in.
You're like, do you have a corking fee for bringing our own wine?
Chipotle. That's not a good first date.
That's
I'll
not
agree.
a date
Yeah,
joint.
that's not a
Yeah, that's
date, yeah.
now the guy. Now
McDonald's or
whoever wrote this thing
But
just
also,
getting
like,
silly. You're
if
just
it's a
getting silly.
like,
They
if
were
you're
on their period.
if
That's
you're
what
young-
they were doing when they wrote this list.
Chipotle is like when you got your girl locked in and like you guys, there's no more, you're not really, you're just hanging out and you're like, you're either like living together or sleeping over a lot.
Lazy night. And
Your girl's hungover, you driving her home, she needs Chipotle. That's not a first date.
That's not a first date. I agree. So there are some on this list that are okay, like that should be on this list. Cheesecake Factory and Chili's, I think are fine. Especially if you're like going to in a town where those are the best options. Like in Cleveland, we have some good restaurants you can go to.
Yeah.
But if you're in a place where, Applebee's is fancy, whatever that fucking dumb country song is, where that's the fanciest place in town or like the most consistent place in town, why not?
I also think the first dates, I can't tell you the last first date I went on where we actually ate food. It's always like drinks.
Yeah.
Not to like platoon your whole
No, but I'm
talking point.
But I'm just saying, like, I don't
Yeah.
think it's bad to do a dinner on a first date. I
I just haven't done like.
So let's keep powering through these. The movies, which is, first date,
I
a first
guess is
date,
kind of
yeah,
hard
yeah.
because
you want
to
to talk, you want to get to know somebody.
Yeah.
And if you're just sitting to a movie, now
I love a movie date, but
on the other hand,
first
though,
date.
if you go to see a movie and you both liked it or both hated it or
So
one
much to
person
talk
liked
about?
it,
Yeah.
like
after
if you have a plan for after the movie, like if I took a chick to see Oppenheimer and after the movie she's like, I thought that fucking sucked. I'm like, I also thought that fucking sucked. I might
Let's
fall in love.
have
Do you want to make out? I did.
Yeah.
I did once. I did a first date to a movie, but it was
Yeah.
dinner before the movie and then the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I used to do that a lot. Like in my Mormon days of dating, it was a lot of like dinner and a movie.
I think in dating app era,
And it was a lot of Applebee's.
no judgment.
My first date with my ex-wife was at Chili's because we went to Winking Lizard and they had an hour-long wait. I'm like, there's just a Chili's over here. Let's go there.
Winking
fucking
Lizard is
shit.
definitely indie rock Applebee's.
Right, exactly.
when you want, dude, I fuck heavy with Winking Lizard. By the
Winking
way.
Lizard's
heavy.
good.
Yes. I don't want to hear any Winking Lizard slander
All right.
on that list.
And then they get a little wild here. Number 6 is the movies.
Yeah.
Number 7 is Your House. Your House first date. I mean, I know you will fly to New Jersey.
I know
First-
first house is just perfectly fine.
I did.
For a
I
first
mean,
date.
during COVID, COVID first
Yeah.
date was at my house because there was literally we could not go anywhere else.
Yeah, that's
which
a-
was
that's
sick.
good.
Yeah.
I
Which
made
was
dinner for a girl a couple weeks ago, and it, like we had a great time.
Mhm.
We watched a scary movie. I made steaks, and that was our first date. And like we just didn't like connect that way.
Yeah,
But it was a good date.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just like there was no romance.
Did it make it weird for because there wasn't a connection? Like, get the fuck out of my house.
No,
Like,
it wasn't
is
even
fine?
that. It wasn't
It was
even that.
fine? Okay,
It was just
yeah.
fine. Like it was just like we were both cool about it. Like
Yeah.
it was.
We were
It
like,
was
well,
okay.
it's getting pretty late. I think you should,
Honestly,
I gotta
think she-
vacuum and stuff.
I think it was more. I
Right.
think it was more on my side where I wasn't feeling the connection.
Well, that's what I'm
but
saying.
yeah.
Like, that could be terrible if you were so not about it and she
But I'm
wasn't
also-
getting the hint.
person-
But I'm
person's in
also
my
not the
house.
guy that's
Yeah, right.
I know how to play that.
Chris told me he pretended to fall asleep because a girl was annoying and he didn't
That's
know
hilarious.
how to
That's
kick her
hilarious.
out. So he just pretended to fall
Do you want to
asleep.
hear
No,
about
I
the-
just get up and start doing stuff. Like I start like
I love this.
I did one time. I came home when I had a roommate back in my 20s, and she had people over, and she was like, she goes, "These girls are here, and I don't like them, and they've talked shit about me." And this was the most on my feet thinking I've ever done. I mean, I had been out all night at the bar, so I walk over to our closet, and I grab our vacuum cleaner, and the girls are kind of standing near the door, so I don't say anything to anybody. I just start vacuuming, and start vacuuming towards their feet. And I go, "Could you just move over a little bit? Thank you." And then I opened the front door. I go, "Can you just go outside for 2 seconds?" And I kept vacuuming, and then I just closed the door and locked it. And then I just heard from like outside, I was like, it's cold out here. And I was like, my roommate just looked at me and she's like, you're my hero. And I go, I'll never do anything that mean
smooth
or that
again.
funny ever.
That's
It was like,
so funny.
It was the most James Bond level of thinking I'll ever
That's so
deploy.
funny. I love that.
We still talk about it to this day.
That's brilliant. So your house, we're saying that's okay for a first date. I'm okay with it.
I'm you know what? I don't think that's okay.
No?
I think like I wouldn't have a problem having somebody over. I just think in the era of like social media and dating apps, that's an insane proposition a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just because like from a woman's standpoint, I feel like it's always understandably women
Shows that you idiots trust me though.
Yeah, it is like a big trust.
As you should. I was very
exercise,
like,
but,
I'm yeah.
If it was a chick I just met on like Hinge or just like did not know.
Yeah, mine was from a
I would
dating app.
never throw that out there. Really?
Mine's from a dating app, and she came over. And now the thing about going out with me is they one second.
I was like, nobody will murder me.
Well, it's
I'm on
like
the
there's
radio. I
like, there's a
can't
public
murder
thing.
anymore.
Like they know they
Fine.
can murder my career if I'm a piece of shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So-
yeah.
I still though. I mean, to this, it's. And also like if they suck, I don't want them in my house.
That's
Right.
That's what I was trying to get out with him. Like,
Yeah.
that would be my issue. I don't like
Or, like,
inviting anybody
like-
over, even friends.
And
Lock up
And
the
here's-
knives and shit. Like,
Right.
Right.
And the cool thing about like, and I just had a vibe about her that
Yeah.
like we had
Yeah,
talked enough
yeah.
that I was like, okay.
Dude, I
She doesn't
flew
really
to
drink a lot.
Jersey.
She's
You're
yeah,
fine.
yeah. And another move that I can do is I go, oh, I gotta take Whoopsie for a walk, and then I walk them to their car.
That's a good move. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like the one positive
Yeah.
about trekking.
as far as having
or
someone over
go.
your house, I forget who I was in the car with. It was like a girlfriend of my friend, and she just goes, "You drive women home after they sleep with you?" And I go, "Yeah." She goes, "You're like such a good guy." I
Dude,
go,
the good guy stuff that I get for like replying to text and just saying nice things and like the girl I went on 2 dates with a girl this past weekend. We went to the the Clue Museum of Art, walked around, had a great time, and I had Sunday open. I'm like, do you want to hang out again tomorrow? So we hung out on Sunday too, and we had it was great. And like the stories that she was telling me of like, and not even like in a bad way, but she was just like, man, you're like engaged in the conversation and you are nice and you're like, just, I'm like, yeah, because I'm not just trying to fuck you. Like, it's not.
I don't what is the bar you've set for men?
Yeah.
That,
Right.
Like
Well,
after like they catch dick from you, you're just like, cool. So like I don't know, you got Uber on your phone, so hit the brakes.
But
Like,
there's a lot of guys out there. But then also like the amount of guys that just fuck to come, like we talked about with Bruce Springsteen, who I think used to fuck to come. I think he fucks for love now. But like I never understood that. Like I never understood a guy that doesn't want to actually please a woman. Like like if they go down on a woman and they're just like, well, I put my mouth down there for a few minutes. Can I please nut now?
I don't get that. I don't fuck with fuck bags.
Look, I don't-
But they're out there. They're out there.
I will-
The
yeah.
girls are with them and they're marrying them and they're having kids with them. And I'm like, why are you doing this? Don't fuck these guys anymore. If a guy's not there's guys that can make you come. Go find those guys.
apparently, I mean,
Not me in pants, but they're out there.
they're somewhere. Okay, I mean that's why I'll drive you home.
Yeah.
So I'm like, do you
That to make
promise-
you come, might as well drive.
do you promise not to tell anybody that like I cried after afterwards, like, and then it's like I'll get you Chipotle on the way home if you promise not,
Oh my god.
Like going down on a woman is, and like making her,
making her
but
come.
like doing a good job, and she has an orgasm, and like you figure that out because every girl's different. That there's similar things you're gonna do
They can
each
do
time.
that?
They, yeah, it's when they start going, "Oh, I'm coming."
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that's of course it's what they
that's
say.
what it sounds like.
Yeah, that's
No, but
they
when you get
told
like
me,
actually like get that connection and you do that for somebody, I think that it's like it's sexy for me.
I don't know. Like, let's
Yeah.
say you as a dude, let's say you don't enjoy doing that, which makes you a pussy. You should not expect that woman to put her mouth anywhere near your dick.
Yeah.
If you're really not down to do that.
But then you have this generation of those, the guys that you always like to share, like these alpha males that are like, it's her duty as a woman to orally pleasure me, but I, as a man, that's not a responsibility. Now, they never say that. They all act like they're making these women come with their dicks.
That's
they're not.
the most low T bullshit I've ever fucking heard in my life. And look, I'm not trying to come off like a white knight, but it's like, yeah, dude, like, I like doing that. And even if you don't like doing that, you better expect the same exact treatment.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't get why people are in relationships with just people they don't have like a connection
because people
with.
love dicks. I'm sorry, not
Yeah.
the.
Yeah.
I know.
Telling you,
I
like
was
dickheads. People.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
well, and there's a lot of insecurity out there that they go, well, they do this and this and this for me, but they don't like there's a specific person that I think of that has told me about their situation and that the person they're with has no idea what they're doing and does not like even really try or care. And it's like, I'm like, teach, like, get down there, you fucking suck on the clit and you put some fingers in, you don't jam, you don't
Watch porn.
you don't try and rip it off, like you just
I can't wait for this to be the one clip that he
Yes,
plays
yes.
next week for the show.
Yeah.
No, dude, it's like, what do you like? I know people are just watching porn to jack off, but like, you could refer to the game film a little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
Obviously, a lot of it is.
and like
out
and you
of
can
the
tell
ordinary,
like
but-
there's definitely like porno eating pussy that's like egregiously,
Well, yeah.
you know what it looks like
Exaggerated.
when it's
People are
like,
not-
but you
know
can
when it's-
tell,
yeah, joke
and there's
time shit.
enough
Yeah.
when you can like if their mouth's like this and they're looking at the camera going that's not what you do. You got to get the one
Looney
where
Tunes
they're
episode.
suction cupped over it and they're making
It's
eye
not
contact.
attractive.
Yeah,
It's not attractive,
Yeah.
probably.
yeah. And there's books and podcasts. There's a million
much,
reasons.
yeah.
There's a
Fucking-
million
There's no excuse.
resources
No excuse.
out there for you to know how to eat pussy. And if you don't do it well, you are a loser.
it's called just giving a shit. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yes,
called to
yeah.
try. Like, it's just called do your best.
Putting effort in.
Do your
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
and like,
That's life.
and there's like those moments when you're doing it and you're doing a good job and the body starts reacting and like starts
That's
twitching
literally every
and-
guy, like
yeah,
what every
starts-
guy says, that's what they like about it.
It's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't get guys that don't.
Because they don't.
I like when they put their phone down and ask if I'm done yet. That's my favorite part.
All right, let's keep going through this. All right. Any fast food chain, Buffalo Wild Wings, Buffalo Wild Wings.
Okay, now this list is turning into just someone wanted engagement on Twitter. But I'm
Of course,
sorry.
right,
I'm
like-
not trying to fuck with you.
It's hilarious.
Yeah,
Because
any
a lot of
fast
these
food
are
chain.
obvious, like Buffalo Wild Wings, Wingstop, Red Lobster. I'm gonna
Okay, Red Lobster. You could bag you a baddie that wants to go to Red Lobster.
And-
I believe that.
and I think you also have to go to. There are good Red Lobsters and there's not good, not as good.
Yeah.
Like there's if you go to a certain Red Lobster, like Strongsville Red Lobster, game on. We'll put it that way.
I'll let you finish this line of logic you're about
Yeah.
to just roll
But
out here.
Parma Red Lobster, I'm not taking a date there.
I celebrated
like
New
me
Year's
and you
Day
can go there.
once.
Me
Yeah.
and you can go there, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't take a date there.
Chain restaurants in general, it's very location.
Yeah.
You gotta.
And you kind of also have to have been there recently enough to know what the staff's situation is, because those they can the turnover at the Strongsville Red Lobster, I'm sure, is pretty quick. So they might not have the best staff at that time.
Is it
So,
Crab Fest? Is Crab Fest going on?
It's
Huge factor in the
it's-
decision.
It's Shrimp Fest.
Is it Shrimp Fest?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Crab
I'm
Fest.
not
I
a big
don't think-
seafood guy.
Oh, I like it.
I just know Nick White goes fucking bananas every time it's Crab Fest.
I don't think I've ever been to Crab Fest, but
You should go to Crab Fest with
I'll
Nick
go
White.
with Nick White.
You
Yeah.
see, you see life in that man's eyes for once.
For once,
yes.
All right.
There's a glimmer in that man's eye I'd not seen since his son was born.
Now this one is okay. So Red Lobster. Now we're on 12. A buffet.
Again, if it's for ironic purposes, I could see taking a bitch to like Asian buffet or something.
Yeah.
But again,
first date is a wild
dude.
thing.
I'm eating so light on any first date. I'm just.
Yeah.
You got to factor in. You don't want to get food poisoning because there's always. I don't live with anxiety or paranoia, but I always get paranoia that I'm going to get food poisoning.
Yeah.
So you eat as little as possible because sex could break out later on.
Yeah.
You don't want to be fucking impacted.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially because there's no buffet food that makes you feel good. Like you're not gonna. You're gonna be bloated and ready to take a dump.
You don't want to feel
buffet
good.
eating is terrible. Like it's it's not a thing to want to do.
Yeah,
it's just not.
Yeah, it's bad. All right, IHOP, Denny's, and then this one's weird. The gym, which is a terrible first date.
If you really want to bag yourself like a fit chick, like a powerlifting chick, or like someone.
But I feel like she wouldn't want to be going to the gym on the first date, would she?
If she's that up her own ass and likely,
then I probably
want to be on a date.
If you're
with
the
her.
type of dude that wants to go to the gym on a first date, that means you got your head up your own ass too, and it might work if you want to be.
That
a
might
fit
not be
couple.
good either, though.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
If you want to be a fit couple, yes, I'm gonna
Also,
say in the purpose of creating a rousing debate here.
Yeah,
gym's fine. Gym is preferable to
Ladies,
fucking IHOP.
Pants wants a date at the gym.
Yeah, I'll go.
Ladies at the gym have seen me there.
I'm gonna go IHOP over gym. I'm gonna go.
I would rather go to IHOP.
Well,
because also like
as a date.
What like if Ricky's there, they're gonna be like, "Who's that guy?" I'm gonna be like, "That's my trainer. He's bad at his job. Look at me."
Brook Park Momoa just kidding.
Yeah.
You don't worry about it. Don't worry about what that guy's name is.
Denny's, the gym, church, obviously not a good one. Starbucks.
I hate whoever made this.
Starbucks and coffee dates. This is stupid.
Fine.
That's a fine first date.
I think this if you're doing a coffee date, you'd want to find like an independent coffee shop, like Six Shooter.
Yes, I agree. It's better to go
local,
local,
somewhere where there's not dudes just like storming in to take a shit in the bathroom and not buy anything. Like Starbucks can be pretty rough.
Yeah.
Even though I do like drinking Starbucks.
Starbucks, a lot of Starbucks now don't even have like a place for you to sit. They're just there to,
It's Chipotle. It's like
they don't
Chipotle for coffee. It's like they want you to get in and get out as soon as
So I'll
quick as
say
possible.
if you're gonna do a coffee date, independent coffee shop kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't.
Local.
I mean, I don't even know
Imagine taking someone to a Dunkin' on
Cold Donuts. It's kind of cute.
Yeah, those are bad donuts. So
I mean, like it's also the thing where just any Starbucks or Dunkin' or anything like that, it's just gonna be dirty.
Yeah.
Like I forget where I was. Where like, I ate it at Chipotle. I think I tweeted about it like last week, and I'm never this boomerish, but every square inch of that restaurant was covered in like boogers and lettuce. Like, and I was out in like Strongsville. I wasn't even like.
It was on 117th.
It was like there was 3 17-year-olds working there. 2 of them were on their phones, and it was just like spackled sour cream
everywhere
over everything.
Yeah, that's no good. All right.
Sorry, as you were.
Ice cream dates. I think those are fine.
Yeah, I think
it's
that's
cute.
fine too.
I think that's cute.
cute. But like, what at a Baskin Robbins?
I mean, I think again, you want to go local, cutesy type of shop.
But
over
if you don't
a
have,
chain.
yeah, well, no,
but if you,
even
like
the most
whatever,
small town USA.
it all depends on your options.
Well,
But even
like-
if you just go to Dairy Queen and get some blizzards or whatever,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong
Eat
with
a
that.
dilly bar.
Nothing.
Share a peanut butter parfait. Get a whole ice cream cake and see who could eat it first.
There you go.
Yeah. Speaking of buffet eating,
Family functions, which is just fucking insane.
That's psychotic.
yeah.
if you try to introduce me to your parents more than 2 years within 2 years of me first date, that's psychotic. The fuck out of here. Family function. You would have to be like established friends that were deciding to make something out of that.
Yeah.
But still, that's crazy.
Not a first date.
No.
Yeah, a first date should be between
Mother,
you guys.
father, this is
Movie
Denise.
night, Netflix, Hulu, etc. Nothing.
It's
wrong
fine.
With,
I
yeah,
see no
nothing wrong
It's
issues
with
also
that.
fine, except there is the implication that you're expecting there to be an and chill tacked on
Yeah.
to the Netflix.
Yeah, but if you guys are both down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
both, yeah.
But I'm just saying, like
Yeah.
for a first date, like
Yeah.
Right.
it's a fine line to walk.
Mhm.
Yes, I agree. Somewhere that requires a long drive.
I think that's
That's-
good, actually.
I think because it's good.
Sounds kind of
Conversation.
creepy.
Yeah, good
I mean, I
conversation.
guess God, I am not. A
Sounds
good
like a
girl.
horror movie.
Like, I
Yeah, Tommy's down for like
It's
whatever.
crazy
Let's
to get-
drive
yeah.
in the middle of the woods.
Because Tommy's thinking of the guy.
alone.
Like I think by the time Tommy's ready to go out on a date with a guy, you are
I'm already- yeah.
you're already ready to fuck that guy. Like you're
Yeah.
not.
Woman
I
after
don't
my
think
own
you're
heart.
just going out with a guy that.
She ready to fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not
no,
going.
I've
you're not
done
like-
my research
yeah.
already by then.
Yeah. So I don't.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's,
long drives in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Bowling. I think bowling's a fine first date.
I mean, that's like the one activity I could think of that I'd want to do on the first date.
like bowling or like mini golf. I think is fine.
Yep. Yeah.
Mini golf's a good one. Because
Anything-
again, it's something like easy to do where you don't have to take it too serious, but you can have fun.
Lighthearted,
Yeah. Nightclubs,
No,
which actually,
back to bowling real quick.
Yeah.
You could tell real quick if you really don't want to fuck with somebody if they're way too competitive or they take it way too seriously.
that's true. That's a very good point.
I am not a competitive person. I do not want that energy in my life.
yeah.
But
Sorry.
it could be a fun, flirty.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, no, I'm
kind
talking
is
about-
fun.
yeah.
You
I'm
get
talking
the good
about-
vibe
yeah.
that way.
I'm talking about like your dad was too hard on you type
yeah.
of
Yeah.
like competitive.
But that's what I'm saying. It's a good
Yeah, like
way to
where they're like,
figure out
they're like,
what kind of
come on,
person it is.
get it together. Come on, Brianna, you got to make this. Like giving themselves a pep talk. Type
They're
of thing.
watching over there.
Yeah.
They're watching us right now.
Brings her own shoes.
Yeah. Nightclubs, hookah bar. I think,
Ugh.
hookah bar, I think that's a weird place to go, but I think it's fine because like a hookah bar, like you just
It's
sit
like
and talk.
chilling.
Yeah.
Nightclub
Bar.
sounds dicey.
Wow.
I mean, at the age I'm at, I don't want.
Yeah,
to be
that's
in
like not in this-
nightclubs
yeah.
With like, and also it's just like you're gonna be like, you're just gonna have dudes like hovering over your chick.
Yeah,
all
the-
night
the-
and
First, it's not a good place to get to know somebody.
Right.
Like,
that's
like-
where you meet
2 hours.
somebody
Yeah, that's where you
and then
meet
you
somebody.
ask them out.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
my experience,
This one's disrespectful. Waffle House.
if you want to find out if she could fight,
Yeah.
yeah, take her to Waffle House.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. That's again. You want to really do some A/B testing on a
Yeah,
personality.
Let's go to Waffle House at 2 a.m. That's our first date.
How do you
Wanna
like your
see if
hash
you're a real
browns?
one, yeah.
How does your right hook look?
And then last one is sports events, which I think is there's no way I'd take someone on a first date to a sporting event
Nah, that's
unless you have
Fans.
like a mutual like, oh, hey, you like the Cavs, I like the Cavs, and I think basketball's the best for a date.
yeah, because that's a place to be seen.
That's a place to be seen, but you're inside, so like it's temperature control. Like baseball, maybe.
Baseball, you got to kind of be embedded with the person. I think that's a great way to spend an afternoon or
Yeah.
something with
Yeah.
somebody.
But football, terrible. Like
Football in
yeah,
general is just a terrible live sport to
it
attend.
is.
That's something you've been dating somebody for like a year and a half, and you're already talking about marriage or moving in
Yeah.
with each other,
Yeah.
and you both have just barfed on each other drunk at some point.
Yeah.
Well,
But football's terrible live.
But I think basketball, it's a fun live sport. And it's not that long. Like you're in and out in 2.5 hours.
Yeah, no,
Like-
basketball's paced.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I would also throw hockey in. with
Hockey's a good
basketball.
one too.
Never
Hockey's
been to
very-
hockey.
Hockey's fun.
we're going to
Yeah,
hockey.
dude.
That'd be
You
fun.
don't. Hockey is like a very easy sport. I'm not saying you're an idiot, but it's a very easy sport to kind of follow if you don't know the game. It's
I
paced
just
very
want to see
quickly.
guys get bloody.
You probably will.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll see dudes fight. That's like
If not,
kind of
pants
part
and
of the
elf
deal.
fight.
Yeah.
We
Thank you.
went
We'll bring knives
to,
and cut
Did we just go
ourselves.
to one hockey game during the pandemic? Or did we go to 2?
I think one.
Yeah, but we had a good time. We got fucked
I
up.
went. I took my nephew to another one during
Yeah.
the pandemic.
I haven't been to one in a couple of years, but I love going to a hockey game.
Yeah,
It looks
hockey's
fun.
fun. I don't go nearly enough live.
Yeah, they're a good time.
But I'll say
yeah,
basketball
we'll do,
for sure.
Okay, so show stuff. We got to do Cheesecake Factory
Cheesecake Factory.
and a hockey game.
I say we go to the hockey game followed by Cheesecake Factory because there's no way I'm going anywhere after eating Cheesecake Factory.
Well,
Perfect.
I think these are going
Pick
to be
up
separate
my-
days.
Oh.
yeah, I
you
don't think.
want,
Oh, I wanna
you
make,
don't
like,
want
a
dinner
big
and a game?
podcast day out.
Yeah, okay. I feel like because Cheesecake Factories, but unless it's like an afternoon hockey game, we might be able to work that out. We might be able to.
I honestly I
a
would
bang
rather
bang?
I would rather go to like a Monsters game in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Day,
That's-
a
that's
day
my
drinking
person.
monster game sounds
Yeah.
fucking
Ooh.
sounds
fun.
good. Sounds tight.
Good.
I like me some. The thing about a hockey game is I've never been to a hockey game where I was anything close to sober enough. So, and I'm sure I could. I'm sure I could do it. But the times that I've gone to hockey games, I've gotten pretty fired up. You know,
I feel like that would be a fun drunk
it's
event.
fun. It is. It is. So my first dates this week, like we went to the art museum.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good first date.
Yep.
That's actually maybe the best.
Fantastic first date.
Because you can, if you want to have drinks, they have a bar. If you don't, you can just walk around. You can use art to start conversations.
It's free.
It's free. I think you can get a good sense of a person.
Yep.
Pretty
it shows
fast.
you have a sense
Now,
of culture.
the girl that I took, she was getting real close to the art, like trying to touch it. I'm like, you gotta stop getting that close. And then
That's
like
stressful.
it was like,
How hot was she? Because if she's hot enough, I say, yeah, knock that shit over. It's fine.
she's pretty hot.
Yeah, do it. No,
But I was just like,
it's not real. It's not. That's not the actual
But like to
thing.
paintings, she's
Yeah.
like about touching. I'm like, stop. You're
Just
so
lick
close.
your thumb and touch that. It's fine.
So it was.
Then later on, maybe
then-
even in bed, you were saying the same thing.
Lick your finger and touch that. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm so
Sure
good at
said
this.
That. You're
Mhm.
great.
You're
So good at
You're gonna
this.
find love again.
Yeah, our museum is where I shine because that's like the one thing I kind of actually know about.
Yeah.
So then like I could present myself to be a complete idiot, and then for like 45 minutes I can wow somebody
With some knowledge.
until I lick my thumb and touch the painting.
Yeah.
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 I just
Other
walk.
things.
Yeah, I just walk around and say, I know that guy. I knew him. He was overrated.
And the cool thing about the Cleveland Museum of Art is they have all the different wings and because some of it's just kind of museum-y, where it's just it's
As
artifacts.
museums are wont to do.
But it's more artifacts than like
Yeah,
art.
no,
It's
yeah, I
like
hear you.
like here's a sarcophagus.
Oh yeah.
like the stuff from
Sword room? Is that
Sword Room.
Yes.
Yeah, they got the
Dude, that's-
armory.
I don't think people understand.
Sword room. Armory. Yes.
Cleveland Museum of Art is like a world-renowned institution,
Yes.
and you can literally go there anytime for fucking free.
It's amazing.
I go there alone a lot just to see when
The
people
art?
actually had to make fucking art.
Yeah.
They didn't have to sit there on their fucking laptop.
Yeah. In Sword Room,
Sorry.
they had child.
Yes.
There's like a child
Armor.
and you're just like,
That kid's dead.
no, I mean,
He
Well,
didn't do-
yes.
But
There's
I
no
think-
way he did well.
no, he was just a fucking rich kid. He was like Ferdinand II's nephew or some shit. So he got fucking rich kid armor. But I think it's just hilarious to make armor for a kid. Like that is the
Or maybe
ultimate
that's just how
rich kid
dire
flex.
shit got with
Yeah.
the wars. They're just like, yeah, you get little Tyler's
Get
got
in
to
there.
suit up there. Yeah.
For a 10-year-old boy.
Swing away, buddy.
Mm-hmm. All right. I think we killed
Where,
this episode.
but I like, yeah, I don't know. Like, what? I'll take a chick to a Cheesecake Factory and fucking.
Yeah.
I have. And
First
I'll
date?
do it again. No,
Oh.
no, I was with.
Yeah, I gotta go first.
I was with my chick for a while, but we were both of the same wavelength where we thought that
Yeah.
that shit was awesome.
Mhm.
So it worked.
Yeah.
Tommy, where's the best place to take Tommy on a first date?
Guys, I'm literally the worst.
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Jersey.
Where'd you and Brandon go on your first date?
I
Did you even have a
dude,
first
I
date?
mean, we were fucking. I was 20. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Probably
Denny's.
not somewhere. Probably something like that.
Yeah.
Miles' first. I don't have that many first dates. That's
Yeah.
my issue. Miles. It was supposed to be Winking Lizard. That's his spot.
Yeah.
Fucking line. So I
Uh-huh.
had to go elsewhere. Got fucking stuck at Melt. We were pissed. We
Oh.
were so upset.
Yeah, that's just
Then I
not.
went back to his house. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, Melts.
yeah,
Melt's
I
not
hate it.
first date food,
It's-
man.
No.
It's not.
We were both pissed. Like we both clearly. On
You
the
make the
same page
most
on
of it.
that, but-
Also, you can learn
It
a
was
lot.
also in the middle of COVID,
Yeah.
so like
Oh, okay.
not that many options.
You
of
could learn a lot about
places you can
somebody
go.
when the circumstances of a
options,
date
yeah.
don't go right.
Right.
Like
See how
if
someone
someone's
rolls with it.
adaptable and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yep.
No, I agree. All right. Well, thanks for checking out this week's episode of the Bill Squire Show. Get tickets for my comedy special taping December 22nd. Thomas.
Tommy LC on OnlyFans, Fansly too. I've been trying to promote that. There's free options.
Fansly.
Yeah.
And then Pants.
You can find me on Hinge under some 43-year-old deranged maniac with nothing to live for.
When's your birthday? Is it actually Friday?
It's Sunday.
Oh, Sunday. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like this year's been so fucking nuts. I forgot that's happening. But also, it's like a whatever year to turn. So
Yeah.
like whatever.
And I think we
Come the
might
old
have an
86.
interview with Doug Benson right now. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Bill Squire Show. I am here with my guest, Doug Benson. And I'm super excited about this because Doug is coming to Cleveland next week. He's going to be doing a stand-up show and Doug Loves Movies live at Dunlop's Corner Bar over in Cleveland. And you can get tickets at your website. What is your website, Doug? I should have probably looked that up. Okay. Hold on. Let me get, for whatever reason, your audio wasn't coming through. Oh, because I'm stupid. All right. Hold on. Now I got it. All right. We'll do that again.
Okay.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Bill Squire Show. I don't do a lot of Zoom interviews, but we're doing a special one today with Doug Benson. He's going to be at Dunlop's Corner Bar on November 4th. He's doing a live Doug Loves Movies taping and live stand-up show. And I get to be on Doug Loves Movies finally. I've been waiting years to get the call, and I'm so excited. You can get tickets at douglovesmovies.com. Had that ready to go.
Right on.
So how long have you been doing Doug Loves Movies now? It's been a while. You're like a early in the podcast area. Like you were on that pretty like within like the first few years of podcast being a thing.
Yeah, I think so. I think I got in there extra early in the like 2006 range, I think it was. And so it's been going, the show's been going about 17 years at this point.
That's incredible, man. Congratulations on that. To do anything for 17 years is impressive, and especially something that can be as finicky as show business, and then having the success that you've had with it and building the following that you've built with it is really impressive. So, and then also it's just a really fun show. I've seen it live a few times and I always laugh my ass off and just have such a good time. So, and then, I listen to it as well, but the live shows are worth every penny, man. It's such a good time.
Yeah, it's it's a fun show to listen to. I've been told, but to actually be there in person just takes it up a notch. It just makes it all more fun and immediate. Just like the difference between watching a game show on TV and being in the audience.
Have you ever been to like a game show taping?
Yeah, I've been to a few. I've been sort of in and out of the game show world my whole career in show business. I've written for a bunch of different game shows, and but also just through being a stand-up and being somewhat known by people especially people who are stand-ups or love stand-up. I've gotten to go to both Price is Right and Jeopardy, because I know Drew Carey from stand up, and I've met Ken Jennings through he's a big fan of comedians in general, and
a very funny guy in his own right too. His Twitter is very good.
And he became like a regular Doug Loves Movies guest. It's just been the strangest thing. So when he was in the GOAT championship on Jeopardy, when Alex Trebek was still with us, me and my girlfriend, I reached out to Ken and said, "Hey, can we come to the taping of this thing?" And he was like, "Sure." I don't have any friends in LA, because he lives up in the Pacific Northwest, and he just didn't bother to have. He's just he'd been on Jeopardy so many times at that point. It's like the novelty had worn off for him. So we were there when he was crowned the greatest of all time. And we got to go up on stage to take pictures behind the podiums. And they even let us use the thing where you write your name on the podium. And I wrote fart and got pictures with that, and nobody seemed to mind.
That's the best thing I've ever heard. One of my favorite things is when I really miss Alex Trebek, because he was just so good and iconic in that role. And when there would be categories where these people didn't know what the answers were, and he could get a little snarky and kind of dig at them because they're all know-it-alls. And so when he gets to be like, Well, now the tables have turned a little bit. That was always really fun. There was a viral clip a couple weeks ago from when it was like a football category, and none of these guys on the panel knew anything about football, and he just cuts into it, and it's so fantastic.
That just happened. I was just watching one yesterday, I think, that the category was a sports thing, and all three panelists, it just was not their strong suit. So it was just at one point, Ken got to say something like, people aren't too thrilled about this category.
Yeah. If you could host any of like the game shows from all like from history, which one would you want to be the host of?
I think just from the host's position, watching people play it and telling them when they're right and wrong and stuff, it'd be fun to do a password.
Oh, that's a great one.
Jimmy Fallon's, he produces the version that's currently on TV, and Keke Palmer's like the host, and they make it kind of a party vibe. But I like the old school Alan Ludden password, or even Bert Convey. But just a friend of mine when I was pretty young, in my early 20s, a friend of mine got to be a contestant on, I guess it was probably called Password Plus or something like that at that time. And they were ahead of the curve. Now everything's something plus. But Password Plus, I got to go to like watch tapings until my friend got selected from the contestant pool to be on. Like they had this pool of like 30 contestants, and they just sort of, when one of them gets picked to be on, they just get told they just get told you're on now, and they have to run up there and do their thing. So like we ended up having to see endless tapings. Me and her boyfriend would go across the street to this Mexican restaurant in between tapings and get drunk on margaritas, and then go back.
That's amazing.
And watch. And so we kind of also got out of control, like screaming and stuff. So like if you're watching old episodes of Super Password and Bert Convey's like telling the audience to calm down, it's probably me and my friend and some other people we knew just there, just probably a little too drunk for the occasion.
That sounds like a dream come true. I really love I mean, like Wheel of Fortune and stuff like that, but I wouldn't want to live up to that hype. So something like Password, and like you said, like it is more of a party vibe now, and it used to have more weight to it, and like they took it really serious. And I always liked that
it used
level.
to be they'd whisper the password, in a serious tone. Now the guy that whispers it on Jimmy Fallon's version is like kind of ironic, he's kind of being silly with it, and also all the words are either silly or sexual. Like that's the thing that's crept into all the game shows like Family Feud and everything is just kind of double entendre, but in most cases it's so obvious it's more more of a single. But
yeah, they definitely, especially with Family Feud, like they once they started posting clips on YouTube and the internet, and they saw that they could generate revenue that way, they just stepped on the gas, and they're like, okay, all we're gonna do is give Steve Harvey a chance to throw the cards up in the air and walk away, and just not be able to believe that someone said penis or not wear a condom or whatever it is, because they're so obvious now.
Yeah, it's the some of these game shows are real. The Jeopardy, the Wheel of Fortune, and Family Feud. Those are all like the single most money raising thing for whichever local station those shows happen to be on, because they get all the local ad time on like network programming where they have to just take a sliver of it. So it's Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune, or like that's why like Pat Sajak leaving Wheel of Fortune probably won't put much of a dent in it, because it's such a good game.
Yeah,
and people are used to Ryan Seacrest; they'll live with it. But when I heard that, I was a little like, boo. So I don't think he's a great replacement, but he's not a bad one either. You know what I mean? Like he gets the job done. He's smooth, and that's what Pat Sajak is like. Even Pat Sajak, as funny as he can be, he doesn't even try to get jokes in too often. He just only goes for the obvious ones when they're thrown his way.
There's a high school quiz show in Ohio, And I remember friends of mine would get on it because it was like they put like the 3 smartest kids in the school on the show. And that was the high watermark of fame in the 90s, where if you got to go on the Ohio, I don't even remember what it was called, but I remember my friends being on there and doing really well. We had this anomaly of a like genius kid that he was the quarterback, but he was in a punk rock band, and he was I think the salutatorian or the valedictorian. I can't remember which one it was. And then after high school, he studied law, did that for a while. Or no, he was an engineer for a while, and then he got bored with that, and he's like, I'm going to be a doctor. And so then he went and became a doctor. So this kid's just lived everybody's wildest dreams all through just being, I don't know, just incredibly smart. And I was just so happy for him to be on there, because usually you're going to, and I wasn't like a cool kid, but he was like the coolest jock, but because he was also like a punk rocker. It was insane.
Yeah, interesting crossover appeal, I guess.
Yeah, he threw all the stereotypes into disarray because he was just checking everybody's box. He was really, I don't know, it was a real anomaly. Where'd you grow up at?
In San Diego-ish. I mean, parts of San Diego, so it's like San Diego County. Like people envision like downtown San Diego maybe, and I barely set foot there as a child, but as an adult, every time I visit, I tend to perform at a club or a theater downtown. Hey, let me ask you a question if you don't mind.
Let's do it.
How do you feel like? Are you good at movie trivia? Do you think? You said you've been like waiting to do Doug Loves Movies for a long time, and that you've seen it live. But how do you think you'll fare at the games? I think Ramon Rivas is going to be a contestant, and he's been on the show a bunch of times.
I actually think I'm going to do. I think I'm going to do really well. I love movies. I love like I go see movies all the time still. I watch movies all the time. I like movie trivia. And from the episodes that I've been there for and listened to, I do all right. Like I can hold my own. And, like I feel like I'm going to have a good time with it. And I'll probably fall on my face after saying this. But even if that happens, it's still so fun that it doesn't matter. I'm not a super competitive guy, so I'm not going to be bummed out if I don't have a good showing. But I feel pretty confident in my movie knowledge that I'm going to do pretty well with this. And I love having all the streaming services now, because I like to dig into movies that I had never watched when I was a kid, but had always heard about. And finally getting to movies like A River Runs Through It and stuff like that, where as a teenager, I had no interest in watching that. And then I watched it as an adult. I'm like, oh, that's actually a pretty good film. And I think the movies that are coming out now, they're all so specific in the audience that they're trying to reach, that they don't just tell an interesting story with good characters and good acting. And so a lot of those 90s films and 70s films, when there were kind of these different, I don't know, there was like eras of specific films that they were putting out. It just really is enjoyable to get on Netflix and watch something like that and just be like, okay, there's no special effects. It's just a dude trying to connect with his family, and it's whatever it is.
Yeah, I've been, dancing around all over the streamers this month, because for the month of October, I've been trying to watch a different horror movie, or, scary or Halloween themed movie, a different one every day. And, but I'll have watched 31 by the end of the month, because I had a couple of travel days that sort of screwed up also when you're in a hotel, it's a real roll of the dice, like if you're going to be able to catch a horror movie on the TV or not, because they just have random cable channels and stuff.
Yeah, you have to watch it on your laptop or your phone or something.
Yeah, but where are you at on? By the time I come to Cleveland, that show's going to be Saturday, November 4th, so I will be out of the horror movie space. But have you been watching any horror movies this month?
Yeah.
Just because of the season?
So I don't watch a ton of horror, but I've watched more horror this October than I have in years. So I watched Hellraiser for the first time. Had
Oh
never
my
seen that.
goodness.
Loved
That's
it.
a big one for somebody who doesn't watch much of it.
Yeah, but my friends are huge horror fans, and they're like, "You got to watch this movie." So we made a night of it, and I loved that movie. The practical effects, the gore, all of it was just fantastic. So I watched that for the first time, and I fell in love with that one. I watched Insidious for the first time, really enjoyed that, and
Do you just stick with the one, or do you go Insidious 2, Insidious 3?
I haven't gotten into the other ones yet because I've been kind of bouncing around with with sequels. There's always diminishing returns, so I've been trying to focus more on the iconic first movies, and then I watched Hereditary, and Hereditary gave me nightmares to a degree where I dreamed about murdering people, and I've never had a dream like that before, and I chalked that up to Hereditary and just how disturbing it was. And but again, loved it. So I may have awakened a horror part of myself that I never had before.
You really, with those three movies, really jumped in the deep end of horror, the horror pool, because those are some pretty wild rides, in different ways. But
Yeah.
they're all pretty trippy and nightmare inducing. Like I know Pinhead in Hellraiser is supposed to be a bad guy, but I just worry for his safety because he's got all those pins in his face. I worry that he's gonna trip and fall down. Or hit his head on something and it just pushes the pins in.
That was one that I absolutely thought that the whole time when I was a kid, because you'd see the box. I never watched the movie, but I see the box at the video store, and it was just the idea of those pins getting pushed into his face always freaked me out, and I think that's one of the reasons it kept me away from it. I also watched the new one on Prime, the time travel slasher movie.
Oh yeah, Totally Killer.
Totally Killer. Love that too. That was a lot of fun. Not scary, really.
Fun.
Not really that scary, but it was a good time. And then I was
if you
on.
don't like stabby, it's a very stabby movie, and some people are extra squeamish about stabs. But not that scary. What's the other one you were gonna say?
Oh, I was guest on a podcast, and we talked about Gremlins 2, and I hadn't seen that since I was a kid.
Batch.
Yeah, and I forgot how much I loved that movie. It was and not really a scary movie, but it's a lot of fun and just over the top ridiculousness.
You go back and you look at the first Gremlins, and I'm kind of shocked that I ever thought it was kind of scary, because it's all so silly. And the Gremlins, they don't really, sure, they cause some mayhem that causes death, but a lot of what they do is just sort of like punch each other in the face and like screw each other over. Like they're just really just little weirdos, so it's not that scary. So then for a new batch to just sort of focus on, but what about corporate greed? Let's have some fun with that and show these Gremlins screwing with that. That's pretty fun.
It was, and as a kid, it was just, oh, there's all these weird different Gremlins, and then when you watch it as an adult, and you're like, oh, you pick up on the things like that, the corporate greed and the just the all the other themes, the meta jokes that they're making were just fantastic. But I mean, I think I do want to dig more into, we got a few days left before October's over. I think I've never seen the Saw movie, so I think I'm going to watch one of those this weekend.
Oh, shit. Well, good luck with that. That's a franchise that I saw one of the ones early on, and I just sort of dipped because I'm not into, the sort of torture element of some horror movies. I've got plenty of those, locked in my brain and in my nightmares from like over the years, like all the way back to Dustin Hoffman and Marathon Man when he that whole dentistry sequence.
Oh yeah. What's your you watched one every day. What stands out from what you watched over the past month?
Well, I got to say that I really did enjoy that. Totally Killer. It was one of my favorite ones. I just thought that had a really tight script and was just very enjoyable. But then another one that I liked a lot was this movie called Cooties from 2014. And I don't know how it's just sort of, got under my radar or slipped past my radar back then. But it's a really funny, and then also, has lots of nastiness in it. But it's basically about little kids at a school all turning into flesh-eating zombies, and the teachers having to save themselves, protect themselves. And it's really funny and fun, and it stars Elijah Wood and a bunch of other funny actors. And so that's the one that sort of, because I just, and basically each day just having to, scroll through the streamers, and sometimes I'll go on X, formerly Twitter, and do like a poll on the Douglas Movies account saying, well, which one of these should I watch today? And sort of let, the people on that account, the followers of that account, sort of determine what I'm going to watch. And of course, they always pick the one that seems the most terrible. Have you ever seen or heard of a movie called Skinamarink?
No, I have not. It sounds like it could have been adorable if it was for the right time, but I'm guessing this has more to do with flesh.
Well, it is. No, that's the thing that's funny is the skin part that's not really an element, but it does make it a creepy word. But no, this kind of auteur writer director came up with using the title Skinamarink because it was a children's TV show and popular sing along song. That's, when you break it down and think about it, it's just kind of creepy because it's just like Skinamarinky dinky dink, Skinamarinky doo. So this filmmaker took that title and then just made this. Some people love it, but it is the most slow moving, but also creepy at the same time. It's kind of like the worst elements of a David Lynch movie stretched out to an entire film. It is so slowly paced, and so it's definitely creepy. It gets under your skin and it's memorable. But like the lighting is all like just from like TV screens, So this house just looks like Poltergeist the whole time. But the cinematography is super grainy. Like if you just even reading the reviews on the internet of this movie, especially the viewer reviews on like IMDb, it's hilarious because people are just so mad at it because really it just so little happens, and it's a short 80 some minute running time, but it's still it's like I'm mad I sat through the whole thing. I'm mad I sat through the whole thing, but it also sticks with me. Yeah, it's really a weird a weird feeling.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna pass on that one. I did watch Talk to Me, which I really like too.
People love that one. It was highly recommended to me, and that's the thing about horror movies is I just feel like I like just it takes the littlest thing to take me out of it. Or like in the case of that movie, I thought it started off really strong, and then by the end, I was less into it. But I did think it had like a nice energy, especially in I just felt like the premise went a different way than I expected it to go. There was too much stuff where the characters were doing things where you're like, why are they doing that?
Well, that's one of the you just worked with Mary Santora, and her boyfriend watches horror movies all the time, and that's the thing that drives her crazy. Is like, this is not how people are going to do things in real life, and she has a problem with that. And I kind of get that too, where you go, why would you do that again? Like, and I get that with Talk to Me, where she has that really terrifying moment with every, and then goes, but let's keep doing it. It's actually really fun. And so there is a lot of suspension of disbelief, because you just got to go, okay, well, they're just trying to make it to the end of this movie now.
I thought the characters were likable at first, and then it became like, oh, now I don't like them because of the choices they're making, because they're being stupid, and it's just annoying, But again, a lot of horror movies really. I just watched one the other night from the '80s called Chopping Mall, and it was the most. It's just so ridiculous that you sort of let yourself go to it and just enjoy it for how dumb it is. Because this is about a mall that hires like RoboCop style, like these robot. They kind of look like Doctor Who, but they like roll around on little conveyors. They kind of look like a robot out of like the Jetsons or something, but they're security robots that have like guns and tasers and lasers, and so they're just like they just end up short circuiting and becoming a complete menace in an overnight mall that these kids that work in the mall are all trapped in, and so that was just like they did stupid things at every turn because that's just how those movies are.
Yeah, you just have to give in to that.
Yeah, you just have to go, okay, well, this is just going to be dumb. But it's funny you mentioned Mary because she was just on the most recent Douglas movies that we taped in Austin, Texas, and that's going to come out late this Sunday night. And it's the last one of the month where we talk about horror movies. And she took us on a lot of her journey that she's had recently with having a boyfriend that's super into horror movies, and now she's suddenly more into it than she's ever been.
Yeah, it's we talk about it on the radio show all the time, and it's definitely like getting me to dip my toe into it more and more. Before we get out of here, what's like of all like the classic horror movies, what would you say is the top of your list, or like what franchise is the one that no matter how many they put out, you're like, all right, I'm going to show up and watch this?
Well, that's the thing is I think every horror franchise I dip at some point. Like I can't do it after a while because they go so far. Like I went really far with Jason and the Friday the 13th movies and the Freddy Krueger movies and the Halloween movies. But I still think Halloween is like, my favorite just for nostalgia's sake. It just turned 45 years old, so it makes me feel super old. But I just love the vibe of it, and it was like one of my first scary movies as a kid. But the first Nightmare on Elm Street, the first in any of these is tends to be a pretty good movie. That's why we have, such a long string of them. But also people like to throw Jaws into the mix and then have that argument. It's kind of like the Die Hard. Is it Christmas movie or isn't it? The same thing with Jaws. Is it a horror movie or isn't it?
Yeah.
And Silence of the Lambs is another one. Like I love both of those movies, but are they technically horror?
Yeah, I put them more in suspense rather than full blown horror, kind of the way I would with, Jurassic Park. Because when I watched that movie as a kid, I mean, those are basically, it's a monster movie in some way, but it's like an action adventure suspense movie more than
but
horror.
Either way, flesh is being eaten.
Yeah, exactly. But going back to Halloween, that's one that I only watched for the first time a few years ago. And as soon as I watched it, I understood why it's such a classic, because it does it's of all the horror franchises that are out there, this one seemed to know what it was right off the bat, and also doesn't film it in a, like, it feels like you're in someone's real house, whereas there's so many of those spooky slasher films where they put that hue on it. They put like, every moment of the movie feels like you're in a scary movie versus like actually having the day-to-day life and actual moments that make you realize that you're just in a regular house in a regular neighborhood and there could be somebody lurking just around the corner.
Yeah, it's the quaintness of the neighborhood where it takes place, and then this guy just walking around looking like such a creep. And I've gotten personally tired of that. I didn't mind it so much in Totally Killer, but in general, I feel like just picking out a mask that looks creepy and then having that person in the mask go around killing people is getting a little out of hand. I've seen too many movies this month where just some sort of creepy mask is involved.
Yeah.
And, I think Scream sort of kind of beat that to death because then they made all those scary movies, the comedy version of Scream. And so it's that same mask, running around chasing people, but it's, slipping on banana peels and stuff. Like,
right.
so
and it's getting high and then getting all squinty eyed and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm not
it
scared
definitely
of that
gets
guy
overused.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I can't wait to do Doug Loves Movies next week. You can get tickets by going to douglovesmovies.com. It's a small room, so get them fast because it's going to sell out, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And then you also are doing stand-up that same night in the same place. So if you're in the Cleveland area, you got to come check this out. It's going to be Doug Benson, obviously, Ramon Rivas, me, a special guest, and then stand up later that night with Doug Benson and Ramon. And I can't wait, man.
It's going to be a fun day there at Dunlap's Corner Bar. I think it's just dunlapscornerbar.com will also get you in the direction of tickets.
Yeah.
And I've been seeing videos from there, on Instagram, and Ramon's been doing a bunch of stuff there, and it looks like a really fun, intimate spot. So I think we're going to have a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Doug, thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Thanks, man.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
Okay, dude.
All right. See you next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.